Good morning and welcome to Around the World in 274 Days. Today we're in Alhambra, and this is a palace and fortress complex located in Granada, Spain. It's one of the most famous monuments of Islamic architecture. In addition, it contains notable examples of Spanish Renaissance architecture. We started our tour in the Summer Palace. This was built outside the city, and it was built so that the royals would have a place to go that was a little cooler in the summertime, and also to get them away from the hubbub of the city and a place where they could relax in peace and quiet. And as you can see, as you're going up to the palace itself, the gardens are absolutely beautiful. Just as a quick side note, in 1492, after the Christians conquered the Muslims, Ferdinand and Isabel made this their royal court, and this is where Columbus received his royal endorsement for his expedition. These gardens are extensive, and the place has quite a little army of gardeners that are constantly going through and pruning and weeding and taking care of the grounds, and it shows. Moving inside the palace itself, a visitor is greeted with more lovely gardens, complete with fountains that are fed by tunneling or channeling water from a river way up, miles upstream, and bringing it into the palace and also into the Alhambra city itself. As one would expect, the palace itself is very ornate, beautifully decorated. Some of these sections have been restored. When you consider the amount of turmoil and battles that took place here, it's amazing any of it is still standing. But this is just gives you a great idea of the Islamic architecture and also the way royals lived back then. Here's a view of the main garden area inside the castle itself. You notice there's a dead tree standing on the right there. That was left there to as a reminder that during the reign of one of the kings, his main wife apparently cheated on him or had an affair with another minor ruler within the city, and they were caught. The wife was forgiven, but the gentleman and the males of his family lost their heads. This path leads away from the Summer Palace, and we're heading back to the main city. Okay, that was the Summer Palace we were just in, and now we're walking actually right into the Alhambra, which is the fortress. So over the top of that arch is an aqueduct bringing water into the castle, and that tower has been restored. That was one of the ones that was blown up by Napoleon when he was here, and Napoleon realized he was going to lose. He started blowing up all the fortifications that he had taken over or conquered. I'm assuming his theory was that he was coming back and didn't want to have to conquer the fortification again. But whatever. As we've gone across Europe, Napoleon's really created more than his share of problems. And again, there's the aqueduct bringing the water in. Okay, we saw the royal palace. This is where the normal people lived. Notice how small their homes are. Their homes are very small. Basically, he said their homes were to sleep in, and that was about it. So that circle cylinder over there is very deep, and in peacetime it was used to preserve food because it was very cool down inside. But during war, it was a prison. If they captured important people, they'd storm in there to exchange them for something. If you weren't important, they'd just kill you. This is Alhambra, the red city, because it's red, made with red sandstone. And there are 20 of these defensive towers that are scattered around. The complex was begun in 1238 by Muhammad al-Amar, the first Nasrid Emir and founder of the Emirate of Granada. It was built on an outcropping of the Sierra Nevadas and has been the site of earlier fortifications that date back to the 11th century. There are numerous palaces within the city complex, and as you can see, there's beautiful gardens in here as well. This here is the first Catholic building to be built inside of Alhambra, and it was a monastery. And this is after the Christians had conquered the Muslims and kicked them out. And of course, then came the Spanish Inquisition, and any Muslim or Jew that was here either escaped with their lives, converted to Christianity, or was killed, and usually not very quickly. As we walked down one of the main roads inside the city, we found this little shop where they make beautiful products out of wood using natural products. Chessboards was a big thing, jewelry boxes, just the artistic work and artistry was incredible. They do it all by hand, and it was fun to watch them work and see how they do it. This is the public bath. You kind of descend down a little bit, and they had a side for men and a side for women, and they say that inside they had the hot, the warm, and the cold. And as you look up at the ceiling, you'll see that they have the 8 stars of Islam. Hopefully I can show that again. Here we are. Those are the 8-sided stars of Islam. Okay, that's the bath behind me, and over here was a mosque. You always have to have a bath by the mosque, and then it became a monastery, and then this became the church. And they made it a church to show that they had power over the Muslims. This apparently was converted to a church in the 1500s. This palace was ordered to be built by a prince of Germany because he fell in love with the place. But apparently he never came back to enjoy it. That German prince was also a descendant of the Catholic kings and had relatives throughout the European royalties. As you can see, the entrance to the palace is beautiful, complete with columns, but as you go through, you get a little bit of surprise when you get inside. And here we are walking, just walked through the entrance, and we're getting ready to walk into the interior of the palace. So the building is square on the outside, and on the inside it's round. They wanted it to kind of look like the Colosseum in Rome. And because Charles V never came back, it was never used as a palace. No king ever came back. And it's kind of stayed empty till Napoleon came through. Napoleon, when he had conquered this area, used this to store his weapons. This is called the Wine Gate. And the reason it's called the Wine Gate is if you brought your wine through this gate, it was not taxed. But if you brought your wine through any other gate, there was a tax levied on it. This is probably the most spectacular building in the entire city. It's called the Palace of the Lions. It was built by Muhammad V. He reigned between 1354 and 1391, and it's probably his most significant contributions to the place. As you can see, it's extremely ornate. Lots of artwork embedded in the walls and the ceilings. It's just really quite spectacular as you view it. This is the main hall. Business was conducted here, and it was really designed to be very impressive to people. They say that there was stained glass in most of these windows, and so the light coming through was very beautiful. Like most palaces, they have some beautiful courtyards, complete with ponds. They say this is the most beautiful part of the palace. It's called the Court of the Lions, and it is spectacular. As you look at the fountain, and you'll get a better look at it here in a minute. There are 12 lions that are holding up the font, and there are a lot of speculation about this fountain. The one that our guide gave us was that this was actually brought from a Jewish location, and that those 12 lions represent the 12 tribes of Israel. There's not 100% agreement on that, but from someone who really doesn't know anything about it, it sure seems to make sense to me. The architecture of the Nasrid Palaces reflect the tradition of Moorish architecture developed over previous centuries. It is characterized by the use of courtyards as a central place or space and basic unit around which the halls and the rooms are organized. And as you can see by these views, the Palace of Lions is certainly worthy of being the most central palace in the complex, and definitely the most ornate. Here is the only remaining stained glass in the entire palace. Here is a view of the old city of Granada from Alhambra. And you can see off in the distance some old walls from centuries ago, put up for defensive purposes. And this brings our tour of Alhambra to a close. And it was a beautiful place to visit. If you liked our video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel Around the World in 274 Days. Bob Allen Travels. And be sure to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we post our next video. Thanks for watching.